Greetings everyone and welcome back. Today's video marks the beginning of the restoration project of my lathe. It will include the preparation scraping of the straight edge, the breaking of the ground so to speak, start of the bedway scraping, as well as some thoughts and ideas on how to proceed with this project. I'll start by sharpening my homemade scraper using this improvised grinder setup that consists of a 3-phase motor that I picked up at eBay auction back a few years ago, and now I get to put it to use. The grinder wheel arbor, which I turned on this very lathe, the finest grit diamond wheel I have, and a couple of pieces of wood. Later, I found out that sharpening carbide tip at a slightly larger than 90-degree angle will save the edge from breaking. Also, it is very important to grind corners round so that they don't leave deep gouges in the surface being scraped. I leave one side of the carbide tip sharpened at straight angle, and the other one at about 93 degrees. First, I start with breaking the ground surface of the straight edge so that it could be referenced to the surface plate without sticking and smudging the blue. Initial referencing revealed some high and low areas. After the roughing in of the surface is complete, I fine-tune the surface by scraping only the areas that are marked blue after referencing. This to me is more like a practice to better my scraping skills. Few iterations of referencing and scraping led to this result, which I am going to call good enough. I actually started scraping the bedways off camera for a little bit. In the beginning, there was only about a couple of square inches of area making a contact with the straight edge at the very end of the machine. It kind of went unnoticed while I was busy scraping, but the touching area grew significantly bigger compared to what I've started with. Lots of hard work and persistence brought forth this much of area making a contact. It really makes a huge difference between plain casting of the straight edge and the hardened bedways as far as scraping experience. To be completely honest, I'm not too happy about it because I've been scraping for a few days now and only got this far. Hardened bedways do not make my life too much easier at this time. Sometime later, I go about measuring actual wear of the bed's flat surface. I used two 1-2-3 blocks to rest on both ground reference surfaces which haven't seen any wear. I'm glad I bought a parallel style straight edge because I can easily adapt it for longitudinal deflection measurements. I set my half thousandths per division dial indicator to 0 at the area closest to the headstock, which theoretically shouldn't have seen any wear from the tailstock riding on it. Unfortunately, I did not take any measurements prior to this one, and therefore I don't know how much I scraped off of the surface already. My best guess is that it should have been very close to zero mark, since there could not have possibly been too much wear put on it. Anyhow, right now the worst worn part of the flat shows about 2.5 thousandths lower than zero area. That means that I've scraped about too little for too long. My initial plan of actions was to scrape in the flat surface, then make up some sort of jig that will be supported by both the flat and the V-way of the tailstock, and will have an adjustment for level. Then, using precision level and a straight edge, scrape in the V-way. Of course, headstock, gearbox, and everything else will go so that the entire lathe bed stands on its own. After that, I plan to use the tailstock's base plate and attach some sort of homemade grinder and grind carrier V-ways by riding the base plate from end to end on the scraped-in ways. Theoretically, I don't see why it wouldn't work. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about that. Maybe you have a better idea to share. My concerns about this path is that it's taking too long to scrape, and I dread it already. Another idea is to make something like a separate frame with linear guides and attach a grinder to it and grind all bed surfaces with it. The real challenge here would be to make a rigid frame that will be true, straight, and parallel. I would like to thank you for watching this video. Please help this channel grow by sharing, liking, and subscribing. Please also consider supporting me. Links are in the description. Thanks again and have a great day.